Hello. It's been a while. This is day 47 if I recall correctly. And I've been away for 12 days if I counted it right. That's quite a bit. And as you can see, I've made a few changes while I was away. First off, the room is clearly different, as you can see. That's because we've moved to another room. Because the one we were originally supposed to stay in was quite a bit moldy and it was hard to breathe in it. So instead, we moved to the original bedroom of my girlfriend and her sister before they both moved out. So we're now back in for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then we're going to move again. Second, as you can see, the camera is normal now, at least for the most part. There's still a bit of buzzing in the background here and here where it's dark, but I'm working on it. I've at least got a light that I found, which is burning my eyes because it's right behind the camera. And it's hard to look directly into the camera. I can't even see the focal point because I'm half blind. But, takes getting used to. Third part is that I wanted to come back sooner and start posting again. It's just the fact that it took me quite a while to get back into it because some of the stuff was broken. I couldn't get everything fixed and we were setting everything up. So in case you were checking some other social media, we were setting it up in a different room. I set up the whole PC for my girlfriend so she can use that. We bought a new printer. Well, she bought a new printer and she's using that to print these amazing little things. So this is the final version of the stickers. They're in there. Really cool. Yeah. So you'll be able to purchase all that down below from this wonderful lady right here. Smile for the camera. If you want to, you can buy that now. I'll post the link somewhere in the doobly-doo down there. And that's about it. We've got a lot of stuff to figure out. So the past 2 or 3 days have been mostly figuring out the setup, figuring out the printer, because we had no idea how to print it. We tested an old printer and it didn't work. So we were on the verge of trying a public print office or whatever you want to call it. But afterwards, we found, at the last minute essentially, we found reviews for a great printer for under 200 euros, which was our price line, or the price limit, rather. And it's great. It's a huge one. It's an A3. It's slick. It looks great. It has Wi-Fi connection, which I haven't set up yet. And it prints amazingly well. Like, the blacks are top notch. It looks as if it were painted by brush.
And the colors.
That's pretty good. So, yes, it was a great investment. The prints are being prepared right now. So, that's great. And I'm looking forward to it, actually, because I've already got my sticker on the back. So, that's great. It's going real well. The only thing I need to focus on right now is getting back into my gig. So I spent the whole afternoon setting everything up, and I thought that my software wasn't working. But it turns out that among those 10 different mute options that I now have, one of them was turned on, and it was the most hidden one. So after about an hour and a half of troubleshooting and looking for fixes, I just went through every single setting and I found that on one of the places in the sound settings, it was muted. So it didn't work. And I almost broke my hand. No, just kidding. But yeah, it was great to finally figure it out and not have to reinstall all the drivers and everything. Because if you've ever installed drivers, you know what I'm talking about. So I now have my workstation set up. My girlfriend has a workstation set up. The prints are ready. We've gone through all the phases and it's ready to be delivered essentially. So now it's about getting the habit and getting good at it for her. And for me, it's about getting back into gathering a few orders and completing them. So I'll have to get used to recording after 2 weeks. Which brings me to my next point, which is how's the vacation? And it was fucking awesome. First of all, we We spent our time here. We had a family lunch, or rather dinner, with my sister and her husband. So that was really good. The food was amazing. We had a few of the traditional stuff. We had a few presents, but I think they nailed it well. And afterwards, I went back to my girlfriend's house, where I spent the next 2 days. And afterwards, we left and went to Slovakia. So we traveled there by car. First off, after just an hour of travel, I figured out that I lost, that we forgot our presents for the entire family. So we were pretty damn frustrated for the next hour. And then we figured out that we'll just get them something nice along the way and make sure that the presents arrive sometime in January. So we got that done, and the presents are now prepared for shipping. But I'd rather wait until someone comes in and actually physically takes them, which should not take long. So we went there with our presents, and as usual, it turns out that we were the ones who were making the biggest fuss out of it. Nobody else really stopped to think about it more than 1 second. So we were overreacting, and that was a good reminder for me that it's often not as overblown as I make it. So we left Prague and went to Košice. We forgot all our presents, which was fine, and a good reminder for me that I don't need to stress about things that much because I'm probably overblowing it. And then afterwards, we came to my hometown, and we met with my father and his girlfriend. The meeting was super nice. I think the evening went great. So even though we had a very split up Christmas, I still enjoyed it probably the most out of the last 5 years, I would say. And after that, I spent the next 2 days probably with my mom and with the rest of the family. So we had a nice family lunch. And that was great. Once again, we went, ironically, to a Czech pub where they served traditional Czech food. But I didn't really mind because that's why I moved. One of the reasons I moved to the Czech Republic, because I love the Czech cuisine. Absolutely. So the family lunch went great. We had a good time. I met with my grandma and my aunt. And overall, it was just very enjoyable. I bought two new pairs of shoes, which I desperately needed. And if you don't know me, I am a person that only buys things when I need them. Like, I don't buy shoes unless I have to throw one pair out. That's the only time. So afterwards, I got the chance to finally throw out some old boots that were no longer comfortable and that were half broken, essentially. So that was one of the few times that I actually enjoyed going out and buying something. And once again, in traditional men's fashion, I came in, I found the best 3 pairs, I tried all 3, 2 of them fit, I bought both, and I got out. Which is stark contrast to the next 3 hours we spent at the shopping center, where my girlfriend was picking her clothes. But that's how it goes usually with women, right? So it's one for the other. But overall, it was very nice. And after that, we set out to Mlinky, which is a smaller town, I would say, almost like a village, somewhere deeper near the mountains. So in the hills, a small village, a lot of forest, and snowy. And I love it there. We go there every New Year's and celebrate or just spend about a week or so there with an old group of friends that we have since high school. So shout out to all of you. And that was awesome. We usually spend a lot of the time there by just messing around and drinking a lot. And over the years, because we've been there for like the 9th or 10th year now, we spend more and more time playing games and cooking food, and less time drinking, which was obviously noticeable on some of the people who came there still expecting to drink, since they seemed almost unhappy that almost nobody wanted to drink that much with them anymore. But yeah, so the first, I think, 4 days, uh, only the core, I would say, of the group was there, like a few people only, and we spent a lot of the time playing games. And when I say a lot of the time, we found a board game named Dominion, and we played that board game for 7 hours for the first day, 7 hours for the second day, and then a collective another 7 hours. So one big piece of news is that I'm probably going to buy that game and as many expansions as I deem fit that I can afford right now. Because that game is fucking great. I mean, when I say we binged that shit, I mean, really, we stopped for lunch and then we played for 3 more hours. Just ridiculous. All day. So I recommend that game quite a bit. You could say that, yes. So we are a group of people who really like strategy games, and we like min-maxing, which means really digging deep and finding the best strategies and ways to win. So we play to win a lot. And we found that that game had ridiculous potential for changing up the games, for making it more competitive. And we made a ban phase, we made a pick phase, and we tracked points across games for who won and who was last, depending on how many points you got. And we made like a leaderboard that we played across the days, and we filled up a whole page just with points. And that was awesome. I enjoyed that more than any year where I was just drinking. I can definitely say that without a doubt. I enjoy gaming more and more, as long as it's with friends. So the social aspect plays quite a big role, I would say. And there were four of us, and there were another 4 to 6 people just messing around or playing. I don't know. I think they played Tekken on the PS4 in the meantime, or they were cooking, or they were drinking, and that's how I imagine the ideal scenario for the next few years, honestly, because it was great. Afterwards, another group of people arrived, and we spent a lot more time with them and just drinking and socializing more. But we still played some other games. There was a lot of board games. Bang and Settlers of Catan, which is another ridiculously good game. And I'm going to be buying that right after Dominion. But Dominion comes first, definitely. So we played a lot of board games. We drank a lot. We played some drinking games. So, we brought the best of both worlds together. And then we just, I don't know, we just had fun and talked a lot. There was one night where we spent the whole night talking, and at the end there were still 3 people, me and my best friend and one other girl, a good friend of ours, and we still talked at 9 a.m. and continued to just drink and talk up until 10 a.m. I think. Some pretty serious topics, but overall I think ridiculous. We got into some deep philosophical shit, as you tend to get when you're drunk, or at least we do. Anyway, it was really good. And I think there was one other evening. Yeah, the morning we left, that we were leaving, 2 other friends stayed up until I think 9 a.m. again, just to wait for us so they don't have to go sleep. After a few minutes, it seems that this laptop is not able to process the 1080p Full HD camera, so I had to stop the recording and press play again. Hopefully it's back up now. So as we got to drink less and less, I enjoyed talking with the people on a deeper level more and more. And the social aspect came up. Not just the partying, but overall spending time with the friends together. So as I spent a few years working and not having that much time to go out and drink with the friends, and we don't drink, as much, and we generally just don't meet quite as much, which I find is quite a shame. I enjoyed meeting with them and spending time with them a lot more. And that much more that my girlfriend was there as well. So we got into a good social circle. And I think that what originally started out as a group of friends just drinking a lot now evolved into quite a tight-knit group. Or at least as I see it. So I really would like to not push it more, but focus on it and bring the people together a little more. Uh, in the new flat, which we will be moving into, there should be more space to invite people for food, for games, even for sleepovers. So I don't think I'll be doing big ones like 10 plus people, but 6 to 8 people I think is a great way to spend evenings rather than, going out for a fancy dinner and paying triple the sum that you can pay when you would cook it at home. Maybe just 2 people, maybe collaboratively. Jesus. So that and board games and just computer games even, or just talking and drinking a bit. I don't think that will go away completely. But I think that would be a really, really good way to get a bit more social, especially now that I will be spending most of my days indoors and not have that much of an opportunity to meet a bigger group of people. I think organizing these will be a good advantage in, the other people will get the benefit of being able to come to our house or to our flat and drinking with us or staying for the evening or just playing games. So the place to organize something like that is quite important. And I think the flat is a great place to organize these 6 to 8 people parties. And the benefit for us is that we will be able to socialize more, which, yeah, I never thought I would say this, but as you get older and older, socializing gets quite a bit of importance in your life. Strange. So I've always been the person that goes to multiple groups, that belongs to multiple groups, is like nomad. So I essentially tried going out with every group every so often just to keep up and to be able to go out with them. But now as I got older, I really decided to stick to one group, and I think it's a much better strategy, if you want to put it that way, for maintaining relations in that group, because it just becomes more tightly knit and you invest more knowing that that is your group, and if something messes up or you mess up the relations, you can't just switch to another group and say, oh, that's fine. And I think just that fact comes back and shows on you, so other people know that they can trust you more because they're your only group as well. That they can say, oh, we can't trust him really because he'll just go to another group later. So I think that's an important aspect as well, that you're showing trust to the group and the group will see trust in you. I got philosophical real quick, but the point I want to make is it's really good to tend to the relations, even if you don't meet the other people quite as often. It's still good to keep contact with them, because I think it gets kind of lonely out there if you don't have a group of people to belong to. So I'm really glad that I realized that I do, and I know which one it is, because I had a time where I didn't, and it's not a nice feeling. I've rambled for enough for today, so I'm glad to be back. I'll have to get used to all the new circumstances, but honestly, I'm looking forward to it. So, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.